Ladies and gentlemen, the House Oversight Committee, Republicans in Congress, James Comer, everybody from Matt Gaetz to Ted Cruz, there's a concerted effort, a unified effort to discover and reveal the business dealings of not only Hunter, but of Joe and everyone around them. People gave them money, so this is very, very simple. For the morally superior liberal Democrats who happen to stumble upon this channel, people gave money for favors, access to the U.S. government, forcing out a prosecutor, for example, in another country. That's why they gave money. They did not give hundreds of millions or tens of millions of dollars in various shady business ventures throughout the world because, for example, a prosecutor wasn't doing his job, and therefore it's incumbent upon the vice president to force out another government official. That has literally never happened in the history of this country. We've done a lot worse, but we've never forced out a prosecutor because the prosecutor wasn't doing a good job. You'd have to be a complete imbecile to believe this. The obvious Occam's razor explanation for money going to Hunter, who doesn't have expertise in oil and gas, for example, he's given money on the board of directors of a corporation, oil and gas corporation, because the corporation wants beneficial and favorable treatment from the United States government, from the vice president at that time, who was the point person for that country now invaded under his watch as president. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. I will be ramping up the videos and the live streams in October. And so hit subscribe to this channel. But Matt Gaetz is forcing out Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy eventually, somewhat reluctantly, he might want to time it before November. I think that's his thing. But he was forced to begin impeachment inquiry into Biden. Biden will be impeached. This is 100% certainty. Okay, there's evidence of crimes, criminal action, bribery, graft. There's enough evidence. There was always enough evidence. There was enough evidence in 2020. That's why 50 intelligence officials went to bat for the Democratic Party and social media algorithms went to bat for the Democratic Party. But hit subscribe to this channel right now because I'm going to explain to you kind of the bird's eye view of things, the aggregate viewpoint of everything. McCarthy is going to be forced to expedite impeachment of Biden. Trump was impeached twice. To remove, you have to have 67 senators. Okay, it's not about removal, although that could be possible, but it's about the impeachment showing criminal behavior. Trump was impeached on a phone call. Biden will be impeached on hundreds of millions of dollars going into various bank accounts for preferential treatment or for overt beneficial treatment, quid pro quo, pay-to-play schemes. This is called graft. It's called bribery. People are giving money for a purpose. Okay, the Bidens and the Clintons don't really have philanthropic organizations. You could say the Clintons do, but they don't. They have conduits, middlemen. They have organizations that accept the money. You're not going to stuff dollar bills into Hunter or Bill's pockets. You do so through their business ventures, through their speaking engagements. Okay? That's not the way graft and bribery work in the 20th century or the 21st century. Okay? Media will never be suspicious. Hollywood, Democrats will never be suspicious of themselves. But a phone call with Trump and an ellipsis means that he was trying to force somebody to do something. Meanwhile, hundreds of millions of dollars going into bank accounts, that's just meaningless to Democrats. But here, you can look. Matt Gaetz is basically doing his best to force McCarthy out. And what's going to take place is McCarthy will either be forced out, so he's essentially on his way out as Speaker of the House. The problem, however, is that Matt Gaetz can, just with one vote, force out McCarthy, a vote of no confidence. Now they have to find an alternative. So it's actually it's not forcing out McCarthy. He's basically out of Speaker of the House with one vote. Okay? It's finding an alternative. So will it be Matt Gaetz? Who wants to lead Republicans and who has the votes? So you do need the 218 votes to overtake, or 219 to overtake McCarthy. So you can oust him, but then there will be the same type of, and which is fine actually, wouldn't be that big of an issue. It's probably going to be better for the country, better for the Republican Party. All of this, by the way, makes the Republican Party more of a Trump political party, which it already is. Donald Trump is the only thing holding the Republican Party up. Could you imagine if Chris Christie was the nominee? They would lose by 20 million votes in 24. If Chris Christie, or even like a lot of people like Nikki Haley, okay, there is nobody who can actually battle media in the manner that Trump does. Trump is his own media machine. You might not like him, but the great thing about, or you might love him. I think he's fantastic in many ways. Is he perfect? No, but he's infinitely better than Biden. We had record low poverty with Trump. This is a fact that nobody talks about. Former President Trump should focus on this every single day. We had record low poverty, record highs in household median income, and he brought Americans home from never-ending military conflict. So, what is there not to like? He was a great president. If you judge a presidency in the manner that most presidencies have been judged, he was a fantastic president. If you judge a presidency by the apoplectic, hysterical media coverage, then Trump, had a chaotic presidency. It was only chaotic because the people who despised him melted down every day. Okay, so Joe Scarborough and MSNBC and all these people, the Lincoln Project, they made like a big stink when Trump was with Putin and didn't acknowledge or complain about the alleged Russian interference, which, by the way, didn't happen. Not even one person's vote was altered, and nobody was influenced by Facebook ads or Twitter bots. But they care more about that than hundreds of millions of dollars going into Biden's accounts from people all throughout the world, corporations, businesses. And then you have classified data repackaged, according to Ted Cruz, by a Hunter to facilitate business deals. Okay, so there's the spending package, the spending deal to fund the government. If you look down here, there's no way to pass all the appropriations bills now. And it's not like we didn't know when September 30th was going to show up on the calendar. Should Congress fail to act by September 30th, either through the 12 appropriations bills or continuing resolution, the government will shut down. What Matt Gaetz and Republicans want, in addition to an expedited impeachment, is they don't want to concede to so much spending. Okay, so what Democrats do is they'll lock down and they'll shut down and they will destroy the economy by saying you can't work. Then they'll give checks. Then they'll say, oh, there's no inflation, and then inflation will skyrocket. Then they'll raise interest rates and say, see, we brought down inflation. It's like, no, you shut down economic activity, causing the inflation. Then you ignored it in 2021. Then you raised interest rates through the roof, making it more difficult to buy a car or to buy a home. And so then they say, oh, well, we lowered interest rates. It's like, no, we lowered inflation. You raised interest rates to lower the inflation that you thought was temporary in 2021. Anyway, the point is the country spends too much, and it spends too much in large part because we shut down economic activity and we're in too many foreign military engagements. What's happening in Europe is a prime example. That's another reason to vote for Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. Evidence was always here. This is the article where the email showing asking for influence on behalf of a certain company should have already indicted a great many people. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.